everyone has this idea of like, oh, you're the CEO, everyone just listens to you. It's not the case. You need to build the trust with the people. You need to help create situations where they're building trust with each other and they're coming to the table together. I don't think I appreciated as much before I became CEO the amount of work that goes behind the scenes to have an incredible team that trusts and works together. Because before, in our roles, we're just like, it was like, we're just growing like gangbusters because we're go, right? But once you reach a certain level that we're at right now, it's like, in order to make that level, you can't do what you did to get to this level. It's not going to work this time. Like, you need a different type of, accountability measures, a type of processes, type of people in order to get you from here to here.
Welcome to the Risk Ready podcast brought to you by Reliance Insurance. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with business leader and CEO of Organica, Aaron Chin, who speaks on the challenges of taking over the family business. Risk exists wherever you are. Are you risk ready?
Okay, so we're going to get going here. First off, I want to dive into the whole history of Organica and kind of growing up in a business like that, and then the whole transition. But I gotta kind of state my issue right now that you show up with a box or 3 boxes of cookies in front of me, and I'm supposed to concentrate now on asking you, real questions.
Yeah.
And let's just be clear, that's not going to happen.
Okay?
Well, because all I'm seeing,
take a few and crack it open.
all I see are come on.
Yeah.
All I see in front of me are Crave the. How do you say it? Fave?
Yeah, Fave.
Fave?
Fave, yeah.
Fave with the Fave. I like the 2 dots. It kind of gives it that European kind of flavor.
Yeah.
So we got double chocolate.
Yeah.
We got ginger snaps.
Yeah. And we got
Snickerdoodle. I'm sorry, Snickerdoodle and the chocolate chips.
Snickerdoodle and chocolate chip. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna crack these.
Let's crack it open.
Do you have a favorite?
Look at my double chocolate is my You can. Thank you.
Go. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I would say double chocolate because I'm a big chocolate guy.
So I'm gonna go on the opposite because I've eaten double chocolate my entire life, and we're talking about making sure our children try new things. I probably have had a Snickerdoodle, but I've never called it a Snickerdoodle. So I'm going to expand my horizons at 44 years old here and dive into a Snickerdoodle.
There you go.
And I'm going to. I was trying to be nice there. Ugh! Yeah. Now I feel like I'm going to be Cookie Monster.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
there you go.
We start off right.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think we're going to get any conversations out now. I'm just going to keep eating because these are.
Yeah, Snickerdoodle is really good too. Usually, I'm not a big cinnamon guy, but I don't know, for some reason these are really good. So
I'm now a big cinnamon guy. I don't know if I was or I wasn't, but I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pace.
Yeah. No, it's like that. They're amazing, right? They're a good snack and good better for you snack. And the whole idea behind these cookies was my wife. My wife's type 1 diabetic.
Oh,
so
wow.
When you're type 1 diabetic, obviously there's a lot of things that you need to do in your diet or the way you live and stuff like that. And we're big snackers and we love food. And I was like, okay, hey, how can we create some sort of low sugar functional snack, right? With collagen and the benefits of it, but also low sugar that everyone can enjoy, right? Like, my kids love these cookies.
Everybody loves these cookies. I mean, everyone's going to love these cookies.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. And I really applaud you for utilizing the platform you have as a health food product producer to make something that not only benefits your wife, but would universally benefit so many people that are dealing with that same issue. I mean, I know a lot of people are making things that simply taste good that can be easily marketed and sold, but here you are solving a real problem because it hits close to home, but it's a large problem.
For sure. And not just type 1 diabetics, but type 2 is way bigger than type 1 diabetics, right? And everyone's trying to cut back their sugar because I think everyone understands now how bad sugar can be for you. So any way they can cut back the sugar, but everyone still has that sweet craving, Angus. So if you can crave it and feel good about it, it's the dream, right?
Yeah, I'm a disciplined person. I'm just going to keep eating.
Yeah.
Okay, not good to talk and eat, but I don't care.
Yeah.
So we were going to get to here later, but I'd like to know from the moment you kind of decided I want to make something for my wife. Let's answer this problem.
Yeah.
Walk me through the process from that moment to this moment?
Yeah.
What does that look like from, let's go make a cookie or a snack.
Yeah.
Where do you go with that?
Yeah. Well, I think for us first, it's taking a step back and okay, it might be good for my wife, but is it good for other people? Like you were mentioning before, are we addressing a specific need? How big is that need? And then next step is okay, how do we make it, right? How do we go about it? Do we do it ourselves? Do we use a contract manufacturer? Do we find the right partner to help us, etc.? And it's been pretty cool to see it come to life because this is the second rendition of it. Our first was a bigger size cookie, and we were just having different stability issues with it. And we felt like with the smaller bite size, it brings back a different feeling from back in the day. Because when we were eating cookies back in the day, like my favorite thing was I would go swimming and we'd be at Minaru. Minaru swimming
Minaru
pool.
pool days, yeah.
I don't know, maybe I was like 6 or 7, and my favorite thing after was always going to the vending machine and getting a famous Amos cookie.
Yeah, famous
and
Amos.
Famous Amos is the famous mini cookies.
Yeah.
So it just it brings back some nostalgia, and if you can make it functional and great, and what we saw was a really big need, right? Like it's within 2 months of launching, we landed our first national grocer Loblaws.
Wow!
So
congratulations.
They obviously tasted it, they liked it, and saw it could do well on the shelf. And by all accounts, through the POS data, purchase of sale data that we have, it's doing really well.
So how long have this second generation been out for now?
Second generation has been out since end of December.
Okay.
So end of December.
Came for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Came for Christmas. Obviously it's not the best time to launch any product during Christmas, but we felt if we could get it out there, we could have some fun around, Santa and the cookies. And a lot of times around Christmas as well, it's like, how much are you eating more than usual?
Yeah.
How much sugar are you eating from every single party? Well, maybe not this year, but previous years, all these parties that you're going to, and
more than you want to count, more than you want to know,
there, right?
More than you really want to know, I think.
Yeah. So we launched it then, and it's been an incredible response so far, right? Because people like it, they love the taste, they love that it's healthy for them, and they love that they're also getting some functional benefits, right, through collagen and through the almond flour and etc.
So again, I'm just fascinated with the whole process. So you dream of this idea.
Yeah.
And you walk it through saying, yes, this would solve a lot of problems for a lot of people while still delivering that tasty snack craving that we all have.
Yeah.
Are you in the kitchen putting the ingredients together? Do you call someone and say, make this happen? I want to try it along the way. What does that look like?
Yeah, for me personally, I like to be pretty hands-on.
Really? You're involved?
On the innovation piece for sure. Like that's kind of my passion. One of my passions for sure is innovation.
You put on the apron and stuff and get in there?
I've been in the factories, the manufacturing plants, bakeries for sure, and I've been there tasting along with, and I've recently traveled and had to do it because at the end of the day, you want to make sure it's your product at the end of the day, right? It's got to taste good. It's got to be up to snuff, and I have pretty high expectations on any time we launch a product, so it better be ready to go and consumers better like it because we know we've done all this testing, all this consumer testing, all this taste testing that, hey, we don't want to put a product out there that is terrible or tastes bad or doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
Right? So,
and I can tell you, I've done a lot of consumer tasting myself as a consumer, and I've eaten a lot of cookies in my life. And when you start stacking them up in terms of what's actually in them, this is by far the best tasting cookie I've ever tasted that I don't have to feel guilty about eating.
Yeah, thank you.
My only drawback is I feel much more like a glutton because I'll get through 10 bags to suffice what I would consider a snack volume. But that's my problem.
Exactly,
that's just my problem.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to keep eating these cookies, but I really want to kind of start at the beginning here.
Yeah.
Organica founded early 90s?
Yeah, 1990,
1990. So how old were you?
So I like to call him my evil twin because Organica was born a month after me.
Oh, really?
So August 1990. I was born July 1990.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so your father founded the company.
Correct.
And he came from a banking background, correct?
Yeah, he came from a banking. He worked in a warehouse too. And he's his story is really incredible, Angus, because people look at us today and they think, oh, these guys must have came from money and this and that. But, my dad's family was so poor in Malaysia. That's where he originally was from. When the ice cream truck comes around, his mom would run to close all the doors, close all the blinds, close everything. But the ice cream truck, it doesn't matter if you close the blinds and close the windows, you still hear that music. So he was also wondering.
They got that trick figured out.
Yeah, he was literally shoved to the back of the house, but he always realized, so that was his dream when he came to Canada at the age of 17 with a few $100 in his pocket is, hey, how can I afford my future kids the opportunity to eat ice cream whenever they want?
Wow.
That's his driving force as an entrepreneur and motivated. When you have that on the top of your mind, anything is possible because when the big addressable, we talk about addressable needs. His thing back in the day, in the late 80s, early 90s, when he started Organica, was, I'll give you an example. Companies were working off 200% margins, which is absolutely ridiculous, right? So only a certain subset of the population could afford natural health products. It was everyone who lived in, Hollyburn or West Van and this and that.
Huge disposable income.
Huge disposable income. Nobody, in the Surreys.
The average common folk could not afford
health products, right?
Out of reach.
So my dad was like, why can't I still make 100% margin and address a bigger need for everyone who can have access to health products? Because his big thing was, my mom was pregnant with my older brother at the time, okay? And back in the day, you don't have sonar lasers where you can, sonar laser a kidney stone and you're good to go.
Right.
It's literally, hey, Tom, we got to put you in the hospital for a week and we got to do surgery to get these out. And he's like, no, I don't want that. So he called his friend in the natural health industry. He said, hey, Kim, what can I take? His friend told him to take a cut of turmeric, which is an anti-inflammatory, parsley, which is a diuretic, mix that with juice and water, take that for 3 times, 3 days straight, and your stone will pass. After 3 days, his stone passes, and he's like, wow, there is like legit stuff behind natural healing.
So he wasn't really into this before. That was the one where it's like, wow, this is working. This is game changer.
Yeah, 100%, because he was like, so many people don't know about this. He's not saying pharmaceuticals are bad and this and that, but there is a place for natural healing as well,
sure,
right? And how do we get that out to the masses? Well, you don't get that out to the masses by making 200% margin and selling multivitamins for $200 a pop. You can sell it for $50 a pop, make amazing margin, and get it out to millions more people. And that's really his driving force from day one, was to make Organica accessible to everybody. And that's really in our distribution strategy, our pricing strategy, where we go around the world. That's really started from his original dream.
So that happens, and he's like, wow, here I can solve this problem, and I can get something that people can benefit from out to them and make it more affordable. So where did he go from there? What was the very, very beginnings? I mean, I know when we come into your place, there's that great picture of that van, right? And that was Organica. There's the warehouse, the CEO's main office, the distribution center, the sales office in a van, right? Like what was month one, year one? What did Organica look like right at the beginning?
Yeah, it was literally a 400 square foot warehouse. Like, you talk about 400 square feet, it's nothing. He started with 4.
Vancouver apartment special.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a Yale Town special,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. So he started with 4 products, right?
What were they? Do you remember?
Korean red ginseng, garlic, coenzyme Q10, and vitamin C.
Okay.
So he started with those 4, and the big thing with starting with those 4 is, like I said, the crazy thing, Angus, is there's still popular products today.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like 30 years ago, these were, hocus pocus.
I remember when coenzyme Q10 came out, it was like another bizarre little kind of thing. You're going to overcharge you something nobody knows anything about.
Yeah.
But time proves all.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Time proves all.
It's crazy. It's crazy to see like the life cycle and everything. But like you talk about the van, like that's why we have it when everyone walks in Organica, is because no matter what happens or how well we do or how big we become, we always have to know where we started from and where we came from, right? And what I tell people all the time is like, can I ever show up at Organica and be ungrateful any day of the week? I just can't. I just simply can't. Because what my dad did in order to build this company to where it was, in order to where it is today, was sacrifices that, 99% of us will never make. Like when we talk about the van, you talk about it being in the office. He was slapping on labels. He drew his first flyer, literally hand drew it. I have it in my office. It's crazy. He was driving this van across Canada, literally to like Kamloops, Prairies, Ontario, Toronto, like not even flying. He was sleeping in that van as well. So can I ever complain when we get back to flying about taking a red-eye flight? Right. No, I can't be complaining about a red-eye flight.
Hi, everybody. This is Jim Ball, president of Reliance Insurance. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for trusting Reliance with your insurance protection. It's a responsibility we take seriously every day. We also take seriously our commitment to our community. And the faith we have in our Reliance community has brought us a ray of sunshine in what has otherwise been a bleak year. Let me explain. Late last year, we found out that Steve, one of our customers, was in dire need of a kidney transplant. He had exhausted all of his resources to find a match. On Steve's behalf, we sent out a plea to you, our customers, trying to help Steve. I'm very pleased to report that another customer stepped forward and volunteered to donate a kidney. Recently, we were advised that the donor had passed all of the necessary tests, kidney was a match, and that the surgery was currently being scheduled. We thank the donor for their generosity, which reminds us all once again the value of strong communities. Thank you again for your business, and thank you for the power of our community. It will see us through to better times.
And the power of that image never lets you forget, right? I think, I love that what you guys do there because it doesn't let you forget. Yeah. You walk in and there's that visual reminder, whether you're up or down that day emotionally, there's that anchoring of look at what we have from where it began and you can never forget. And I think businesses can take a huge example from that, from what you guys do to make sure every employee, everyone remembers where we came from. So no matter what's going on or you feel down, the gratitude you have from what where you're at, from where it began and that sort of pride from what we've built from this, I think is huge. So speak about growing up Organica. You're 5 years old, you're 10 years old, you're 15 years old. Your dad is building this business, grinding it out. Are you involved? Or is it something that he's doing over there and coming home? Are you in the business?
Yeah, no, I think the cool thing about my dad is I tell this all the time is he's one of those awesome dads.
I'm going to keep eating here,
yeah,
by the way. So you talk for a while. I got to chew for a while.
He's never ever forced myself or my brothers to really do anything. He didn't say go to university. He didn't say play competitive hockey. He didn't say get into the business. He never did that. Like it's like the opposite of like other parents where it's like, you got to do this, this, and this, and I'm going to hold on to this for the rest of my life kind of thing. He's been an incredible just leader and obviously father for us because he always said if it's here if you want it, but you got to want it. So growing up, we worked summers at Organica. We did the tours to the different facilities.
You and your brother Jordan.
My brother Jordan, who's our president. But I think the one thing for me is I always knew from a very young age I wanted to be in the business. So I always took a extra liking on the business. I would always at a young age show up at these different trade shows. There's a picture of me at like 10 years old working the machine, giving out samples. Like that for me was awesome. Like the biggest joy I had growing up, it wasn't Christmas. It was my dad coming home from trade shows because he'd come home with a big bag full of, sugar-free gummies and whatever else. And like I was just so excited because I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. So I was exposed to it from a very young age. And I tell this story all the time. It's like I was also very, very exposed to natural healing from a young age as well, because for me, I was playing competitive hockey. And one of the things my dad said might help me was cordyceps mushrooms. So cordyceps mushrooms was actually used in the mid-90s when China won all those gold medals in the Summer Olympics as a performance enhancer. Helps you focus, helps your nitric oxide production, etc. So I was literally at 10 years old walking into you can imagine my coaches, what they were thinking. I was walking in the dressing room with a Ziploc bag of freshly pressed cordyceps mushrooms. They're like, what the hell is this? What are you taking? Should you be taking it? Is this illegal or illegal? So from a very young age, I knew the benefits of natural healing. I think that's why I'm so passionate about natural healing and what it can do for people, because I've seen countless stories over the years of how natural health products have really healed and helped people.
Well, what I also love though, what you just shared was the fact that your dad didn't push you into the business, but you were exposed to it continuously without him forcing it into you. So, I would say he didn't have to sell you on it, but he modeled something that you loved. What he was doing, how he was doing it, and the environment of this industry. Obviously, you gravitated towards it, and you saw it all the time. And all your dad did was model what it was like to be in this and work hard, and you loved that in yourself. Was Jordan the same way? Were you both sort of kind of in on, like, loving it?
I think Jordan will tell you this himself, but he was definitely the longer track. After university, I think he realized what a great opportunity it was, that what we could build at Organica together. And I don't think he ever was like me or wanted to work in the business from a very young age, but at the same time now he's like fully in and he realized the opportunity, and we've been able to have a good run so far.
So what was your first official job? When did you become an employee at Organica? And what was that?
Well, my first official job was these little sample packets that will have a Ziploc bag and have a couple pills inside.
Yeah.
So we were in charge of literally there's a big box of pills. We put 2 pills in a Ziploc
How old are
bag.
you? How old are you?
I was probably 7 or 8.
Okay,
Yeah,
I mean, like,
7 or 8.
okay.
Yeah.
When did you become an employee where, like, you know, you had to,
Yeah.
your HR knows who you are, you have your form and all that stuff?
I would say probably like 14, 15.
Okay.
Because, he put me in shipping, and it was incredible working the summer in shipping, because what I got is a huge appreciation for what these guys do every day. These guys are lifting boxes, they're walking on concrete, they're picking, packing as fast as they can to get orders out the door. And at that young age, you realize, you know, my friends would call me at night and say, hey, we're going to play roller hockey. I was like, guys, I can't. Like, I can't even move from, like, walking around and lifting boxes for 8 hours in the day. But these guys are doing this for, some of them have worked for, I'm not, no joking, Angus, over 25 years.
Wow.
Some people in our shipping office have worked for us over 25 years.
Wow.
They've been doing the same thing every day, labor jobs for over 25
Hard
years.
work.
Hard work. So, I don't know. For me, as the CEO now, I obviously have a huge appreciation and affinity for, you know, everyone in the company, because I know everyone plays a certain role.
But that alone is a huge lesson. I mean, you're COO of the company. Okay, you start off in shipping.
Yeah.
And you're the owner's son.
Yeah.
So he didn't obviously play any favoritism to you. You want a job? Here's the job.
Yeah.
You're going to learn from the ground up. Would that be fair to say that it wasn't?
Yeah.
The road wasn't. You know, here you go. We'll put you in the side office to mine because you're going to learn how to run a company from the top. You learn the business literally from the ground floor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've been in shipping, you know, packaging, manufacturing. We've been in quality. We've been in sales, marketing, everywhere. And I think for me, when I got out of university and my first job was purchasing, at the time I was like, why the hell is my dad putting me in purchasing? Because what I did,
So he did. He was saying this is where you're going to go.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to go. And I was like, I want to be in sales. Like, I don't want to be in purchasing. But I realized why he did it, because he was teaching me a very early lesson that what you do on the back end of the business can have a more effect on your bottom line than what you do in sales. And I was like, after the first 6 months, and I saved over $500,000 for the company, I was like, you're right. This is going right to the bottom line. All the savings that we're realizing right now. And I also realized why he did it as well, because I actually got to learn from the top salespeople in the industry trying to sell me why they were the best, why their ingredient was the best, or why they should buy their ingredient, or why I need it, etc. And that gave me a lot of lessons on how, when I transitioned to the sales side, how I could be the best salesperson I could in terms of following up relationships.
No, that makes sense. You know, your dad obviously always saw the big picture and wanted to make sure he wasn't rushing you into something before you had all that foundation of broader knowledge.
Yeah, for sure.
Was there any time when you're like, did you ever hit a point where like, I don't want to do this. I'm sick of this and I want to do my own thing and I don't want to be around this?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think it's natural for any fresh out of university, passionate.
Got your own ideas now.
Got your own ideas,
blaze your own trail.
Yeah, for sure. But I think one thing that always brought us back was, okay, like my dad sat my brother and I down after the first 6 months in the business, and he asked us, he actually sat us down first a month, and then he asked us, you know, in 6 months from now, I want a full 5-year business plan from you guys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Learn the business first, right? And when he sat us down in that 6 month meeting when we were presenting, he essentially said, guys, incredible presentation, blah, 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 but that's not the point. The point is, I wanted to tell you guys today is the ceiling that I have set is your floor.
I've heard you say this before. It's one of the greatest quotes your dad I've ever heard from.
It's
anyone.
crazy because what he was saying is like literally giving us a confidence that, hey, where we're starting is literally where he tapped out. So all the greatness that we think of our dad and this and that, we're starting at his max. And, you know, I think for us as brothers and being in the family business, it's like, wow, like we really have an opportunity to keep on spreading the good stuff of Organica around the world and to way more people.
I want to pause for a sec because I heard your dad say that at one of the awards banquets maybe a couple of years ago to you both. Yeah. And I think it was one of the greatest lines a father can ever say to their sons. And I remember I was in the crowd when he said, to my boys, my ceiling is your floor. Yeah. And that, I mean, I've never forgotten that. What a powerful, and it's not a scary thing to hear because it throws unbelievable expectations. But what a powerful reminder of how much he believes in you.
100%.
Right? How much he believes in you well enough for you to take that burden on and run with it, right? And not get crushed by it. I always never forgot that. And thank you for saying it again. I just think that's one of the greatest things a father can ever say to their children.
Honestly, I'm getting chills right now just always replaying that when we were in his office.
I
sitting
scribbled it
at his
down on a
desk.
napkin because I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I want to be able to say this one day to my
Yeah,
boys
for
and mean
sure.
it and mean
For
it.
sure,
But like that is
100%.
really something.
Yeah.
So here you are, you do your 5-year plan. At this
Yeah.
point, you and your brother obviously all in on wanting to
Yeah.
to run this.
Yeah.
Was it? I mean, this can't be easy taking over a business from your father.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people go through this
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Would you say it was it 50-50 him excited for you guys to take over? You guys wanted to take over? Did you
Yeah.
push for this?
Yeah.
Did he sort of push you for this
Yeah.
at that point?
Yeah.
Who kind of was driving this?
I think it was definitely us. My dad at the time of when we officially joined after our university and started full time, he actually wasn't involved in the day to day anymore, and he had a management team running his business. And what we saw, to be honest, was a management team not committed, not passionate, and just really not driving the business in the way it should have been. Because, like I was saying, I started in purchasing. My first day, I show up to work, so happy, excited. I walk in. My first boss, purchasing manager, he was there for like 10 years. Old Taiwanese guy. He never said hi or any good morning or anything like that, which was fine. Whatever. Like first day gung ho kind of thing. I sit down. He sits down. He checks his voicemail. And when you have a voicemail, you'll hear at least hey, I'm Angus, and then you'll delete it after, right? I'm not doing that to you. Don't worry.
No. But it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
He just knows my number and deletes it now. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he literally went without even listening to it. I was like, holy moly, there's like 10 messages. He didn't even listen to the first name of it. I was like, how many opportunities are missing? How does he not know that wasn't my dad leaving a message? I was like, this is crazy. So that was like kind of the attitude throughout the management. So we knew we needed to come in and make some changes, and we told our dad like, hey, like here's what we need to do, and he essentially said, here it is.
That couldn't have been easy to tell your dad the problems that are going on in the company
for
that he's
sure.
running, right? You're
For
now
sure.
having to let him know
Yeah.
people that he's empowered to run things
Yeah.
aren't bringing the same heart and soul that he would have.
sure.
I mean, that can't
For
be an
sure.
easy thing to tell a father.
For sure. And I think for him, obviously there's a lot to grapple with at the time because, you got two gung-ho people coming in and you're used to, kind of coasting it kind of thing. And these guys come in and tell it how it is. I would imagine it wasn't easy to hear, but I also imagine it was a lot harder for him to give up control and let us make the changes. So it just shows the type of person my dad is and the humbleness of like a successful CEO to say, hey, okay, I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to let these kids change it. Because we were kids at the time. I was 22 years old.
Wow.
Coming out of university.
Wow.
We learned on the job. And we've made a ton of mistakes. But the cool thing is he's allowed us to make mistakes. A lot of parents won't let you make a mistake. And then you don't learn from it. Where he was like saying, okay, you want to do this? Sure. Build out a plan. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? But he actually allowed us to make these mistakes, and it's been critical for my growth as a person and a professional to actually learn and be able to make these mistakes, right?
So would he sort of? It doesn't matter the time frame, whether it's quarterly, monthly, where you had the leash to go do what you were going to do, and then you sit down and you would assess, did it work, did it not? He would allow you to see it as a real leader. Going, that didn't work, and you had to find out that it didn't work. He wouldn't cut it short. He'd let it play out and let you see let's see the results.
Oh yeah, he would say, I saw this coming after the first week.
But he let it roll.
Yeah, but he let it roll for months.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. It's just, and then. But for us, like I said, it was just like incredible.
Unbelievable learning.
Yeah, incredible learning, right? Like, where else? Like, that's why my brother and I, we joke now. We're like, where do we get the opportunity to learn like this on the job? Like,
speak for a moment then on you and your brother, siblings now, kind of co-running this company.
Yeah.
Are you both competitive? Yeah. Do you give each other your own space? Do you second guess each other? How does that work?
Yeah, the cool thing about my brother is he's the total opposite. So that's why it works. It wouldn't work if we were both like this. Yeah. Right? Because then it's just like you're both running each other to the ground, and your egos are so big that it's too big for the room, kind of thing, right?
So he has his thing, and you have your thing, and you leave each other alone to do it.
Yeah, it's not like we leave each other alone. It's like we're partners in the business. We talk about everything. We're best friends out of the business, right? And like that's another story as it is. Like we didn't like each other growing up, but I think after we matured and we got to know each other a bit better, we realized, hey, like there's some value in each other. So
when the transition was kind of at its final peak of taking over,
Yeah.
did you both know the roles that you were going to fulfill, and both were okay with that, or was there competitiveness there in terms of I want to run this part, you run this part? Or was that kind of easy?
Yeah, and I think it was easy because I think we're very self-aware of our strengths and what we want to be.
So your dad didn't say, "Well, Aaron, you're going to do this, and Jordan, you'll do this." It was you guys that came with your model plan of this is how we're going to run Organica.
It was together as a family. Like we made that decision as a family. It's like, hey, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing that kind of thing, and it's worked out well, right? Like it's the thing is everyone has their strengths and everyone plays a part. That's why I always say is like no matter how this person is not living up to what standard, it doesn't matter. He's going to play a part in his own way for the company.
Yeah, but what you said is key, and I think a lot of people miss this part. Everybody has their strengths. Not everybody plays their part.
Yeah,
and you said it earlier. Knowing, being self-aware of what your strengths and weaknesses are is very different than just having them.
Yeah.
A lot of people have them, aren't aware of them, and don't play their part, and that's where problems happen.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And sometimes you don't want to hear it from other people. So it's an added benefit if you actually are honestly aware of your own. It's a much easier to navigate those and balance each other off than not being aware of it.
Yeah, and I think the thing at Organica too is we're also not afraid of making changes. I think we've proven that over the years. Like you don't grow at the pace we have if you're not willing to make hard decisions or hard changes, and sometimes that's at a fault of us, right? In terms of, maybe we thought we could do this and now we can't, right? So we need to change and we need to restructure things, right?
So we'll talk about change in a sec, but I want to give people a little bit of context in terms of growth. Started with 4 products in 1992. I think you've already scaled back from max, but what would max product line have been at?
We went from 4 to 600.
600.
And then when we joined, we said, okay, why are we producing 600 SKUs at the size we are as a company? So we're probably down to about 220 now.
But I mean, that just shows you were that massive in terms of variety and options, and now obviously you pare it back down and go, okay, what do we want to be great at? What can we be great at?
Exactly.
What do we want to be known for? What do we want to help people with? And let's get rid of the rest, right?
Exactly.
Let's simplify. So let's speak about adaptation and change over time. Like you spoke about certain products that have proven test of time. There's staple products, right? That your vitamins and your certain nutritional, your nutritional supplemental products that have withstood the test of time. They should be in anyone's toolkit for nutritional supplementation. But with that, there's always adaptions and evolutions of things and new products that come on. So let's say in the last 5 years, let's say what are the big game changers that you guys have been a part of and bringing to the market, and that you're most proud of, and that you are kind of putting your stamp on the strongest right now of being industry leaders in what you're doing that's kind of new and cutting edge?
Yeah, I think to take it back, the turning point of Organica, like I would say before we joined, we were like 98% your basic vitamins and supplements.
Pills, right? Pills. Bottles of pills, right?
Pills. And then one day we had dinner at my dad's house, and my little brother Gabe, who's quite a bit younger than myself and Jordan, we just said, "Hey Gabe, what did you have at lunch today at school?" And he goes, "A smoothie." And we said, "Excuse me?" Like
what? How long ago?
This is probably like 6-7 years ago now. So we kind of stopped in our tracks because we're like, back in our high school days, burgers, fries, chicken wings, hot dogs, pop, cookies, nothing healthy. And there was
standard high school diet.
Standard high school diet. Yeah. But there was a whole new generation that wasn't going out and getting this healthy product. They were expecting it a part of their daily life. Mm-hmm. So that was a big turning point for us where we're like, okay, we need to transition our business because there's pill fatigue. People don't want, the new generation assumes pills are like prescription drugs, and they, it's hard for them to take. They want to get nutrition through food now. Mm-hmm. So that's when our first product that really helped us grow our company and grow the market was actually a maca powder. Mm. So it's a Peruvian, adaptogen powder that helps you with stress. It helps lower your cortisol levels. It's also good for hormonal for women. And it was one where you could literally put maca in anything. It was one of those products that was already, the process happened, so you could put it in hot or cold water or juices, smoothies, and whatever, and it was beneficial, and you could feel the difference. So that was our first product where we're like, okay, whoa, there's something behind powdered products.
Total shift of mindset then, right?
Total shift of mindset. And then the year after, we're like, okay, what's the next one? Well, we're like, collagen. Collagen has been used for the last hundreds of years but it just hasn't been brought to the market like we've been able to bring it to the market because
Not mainstream use.
Not
though. Yeah,
mainstream.
Not talked about in the mainstream. world
not
at
talk
all.
about,
You're right.
but now you see from when we introduce it to where it is now, it is in the mainstream.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
There's not. The science on it isn't new. It's
Exactly.
been known about forever. And you're right. The people that knew,
Forever.
it's always been a part of it,
Forever.
but it hadn't been a mainstream
Exactly.
accepted supplement.
Exactly. But the awesome thing about collagen, the reason why I think it's gaining mainstream acceptance is because it's so versatile. It's tasteless, it's odorless. You can literally use it in anything. Baking, cooking, your soups, your smoothies, your coffee. You can even put in your juice, your water. And because it's so versatile, you can put it in a lot of different formats. For example, like the cookies. So that's why people say, okay, I can get the benefits of more protein in my diet from the collagen. I can get skin benefits and I can get joint benefits. Why wouldn't you take this product?
Yeah, and and there's been I've been in the sports training world since I was probably 14 years old, and messing around with protein powders and stuff since I was a kid. There's been a huge shift even just from the word protein powder.
Yeah.
And that was bodybuilder life in the 90s when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And most of them were chalky powder things that unless you had a superpower blender, it was horrible to drink anyways. And that whole concept wasn't mainstream yet, right? And now collagen or your different types of proteins now are not only accepted but embraced by everybody. It's just a healthy addition to your life. It's something you need to be functioning at your best. And it's spawned well beyond this subculture of bodybuilders and just high performance strength athletes to necessity for all of us to be maximizing our life, which is a good timing for you guys to be able to provide better options for people for things that people now are asking for. You don't have to push them on it. You're providing something that's better.
Yeah.
Right?
What we like to say is we Organica never wants to be the hero in your health journey.
Okay.
We just want to be the guide.
Right.
We want to.
I like that.
Whatever you want, we want to provide you. You're your own hero in your own story. Whereas a lot of different companies and brands, they try to say, you need us, you need us. It's like, no, we need you. How can we help you on your health journey?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, in your world, the most powerful thing you can offer is credibility.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, I need this. I've read about it, but where do you go to get it from?
Yeah.
And do you get it from somebody that has these bizarre proprietary products that they won't tell you what's in it, but without it you'll die? Or someone that's open and honest and truthful about what they're doing and has 30-year reputation of delivering quality.
Yeah,
Right? It's trust. It's a big trust game.
100%.
Big trust game,
100%.
right? Because you might want something, but you have 50 people to get it from. Yeah. You want someone that you trust is bringing quality into your life and not just trying to market that without me, you got problems, right? And then get you stuck. So let's get back to you and your brother sort of now taking over.
Yeah.
So now you're seeing things more in terms of not just understanding how the business operates, but having opportunities to now drive it where you want to go. And you've already kind of alluded to game changers that you've brought to the market. You guys have now become a big player out there. What's it like expanding, not just in product line, but in terms of geographic reach of who you are on a global market in today's world of e-commerce? Where are you guys at in that, and where's your mindset and where you're trying to get to?
Yeah, I think for us, I say this all the time, but in any growth, doesn't matter what it is, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. There's going to be processes that aren't in place that, you're not going to know everything under the book, and you can't make decisions based on knowing every single fact, or else you're never going to grow at the pace that you're growing, right? So I think for us, just growing at the pace that we've been growing and sustained continuous growth has been a challenge for sure. Like in terms of, the people that are required to get us to a certain level and the people you need or the process that you need or the product or the customers or clients, right? And I think for us, just making sure we're diversifying ourselves and making sure we're available to the mass majority of people, because I think it goes back to why we started in the first place, right? It's to help as many people get healthier as possible. So if you start with that as your core mission, it's like, no, I can't only sell to bodybuilding stores, Angus. Like we wouldn't be doing ourselves a service, or we wouldn't be doing everyone else a service.
And you wouldn't be who you are anymore.
100%.
You stop being your core mission. And there are other people ticking that box, right? You got to stay in your, be great in your lane, right? No, choose your lane and then dominate your lane.
Yeah. So for us, because we've had, really good success in Canada, we've been able to parlay that into different export markets. We just launched in Japan. We're going to be launching in the US soon. So those are, big things on our radar, big things on our plate, because, those aren't small how I like to tell why a lot of people don't get into export or stuff, because it takes work. It takes
Yes.
takes a lot of work, a lot of paperwork.
People are good at avoiding hard.
Exactly. So, if you're willing to put that in and willing to set it up, it can be very helpful for your business. But if you're not at the same time, you can't go half in, half out in any export market. You'll just get eaten alive and you get tossed out and thrown out. Because you're not only competing with other foreign brands, you're competing with a national brand doing the same thing as you, right?
International brands.
Yeah.
Global brands, right?
Yeah, global brands, but also their
Theirs.
national.
You're trying to
brand.
step in on someone else's
Exactly.
home field, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and I guess now, your first couple years when you're here, you're the father's sons.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's that whole, and there must be a little bit of that kind of playing. You gotta build your own credibility, right? You're not just daddy's boy running the company. Nice for you. And I'm sure there was a bit of you making sure people took you seriously.
Yeah, 100%. Like I probably only really got over it, I'd say, when I became CEO. Like probably a year or almost 2 years ago now. Because for the first, I don't know, let's say 5-6 years of the business, I was working like investment banking hours, Angus. I was showing up at 6 a.m. opening.
Like you had to prove something?
Yeah, like I had to prove something.
To yourself almost too, right?
To myself, but also to everybody that, hey, we weren't just daddy's boys with a silver spoon. Like I wanted to let people know, hey, like I'm willing to put in all this effort and work.
Right.
You better know what's coming in the future when I'm there. Right.
But even beyond your own walls, you're dealing with all your customers, your partners.
Yeah.
There must have been an urge on you to make sure that they knew that you are really running the show. You're not just dad's kids, and you got to give, and like that you are a professional on their level, and you're gonna
for sure.
take this at the same level.
I think the one thing that really helped is my dad said is like, you really want to get to know the business, you need to be on the road.
Yeah.
80% of your time.
Wow.
Because I was flying to Toronto every like 2 or 3 weeks, Angus. At one point, I was like, okay, I might as well just move here.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. But just getting to know and hearing how we could be better at Organica, what we weren't doing the last few years, what do they want to see from us, and really
being in front of them,
being
right?
in front of them,
giving
and
that
really
FaceTime.
taking that partnership approach, it made a huge difference. It knocked down all these walls where people thought Organica didn't care anymore and this and that. Because for us, I wanted to let them know, hey, we care. Like we genuinely want to help you be successful. So how can we work together to be successful? Not just, we're a transactional relationship where you just buy product from us. Like we don't want that. Like that's not what Organic is about. In terms of our retailers, they're key to our business. They're vital to our business, right? So how do we help them?
So biggest, you obviously your dad did it right and had you guys pretty much try to learn every aspect of the company before taking it over.
Yeah.
But there's still a difference between knowing what a big chair looks like and sitting in it by yourself, right? And so talk to me about any of the, maybe one or two of the largest things that still caught you off guard once you became a CEO of a company and you were left to your own devices, things that you had no idea might happen, or shall we say a mistake or something that you weren't prepared for.
Yeah, I would probably say the level of behind the scenes work that a CEO needs to be successful and have his team come together. Because I think everyone has this idea of like, oh, you're the CEO, everyone just listens to you. It's not the case. You need to build the trust with the people. You need to help create situations where they're building trust with each other and they're coming to the table together. I don't think I appreciated as much before I became CEO the amount of work that goes behind the scenes to have an incredible team that trusts and works together. Because before, in our roles, we're just like, it was like, we're just growing like gangbusters because we're go, right? Yeah. But once you reach a certain level that we're at right now, it's like, in order to make that level, you can't do what you did to get to this level. It's not going to work this time. Like you need a different type of, accountability measures, a type of processes, type of people in order to get you from here to here, right? So that was one thing that for sure caught me off guard is the amount of stuff you gotta do.
It's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So now you guys are running it.
Mm-hmm.
Does your dad check in like a dad, or does he check in like he used to run the company? Does he question things now as just like a sports fan questions their quarterback throwing a bad ball, or does he just leave it alone? Do you guys talk business?
Honestly, Angus, we don't.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's just your dad, and you're his boys.
It's crazy. Like he's when he's hands off, he's hands off. Like he's not like
He's not asking about what's going on operations and where's things moving. Couldn't care less.
Yeah, he literally, But
what are you making cookies for? Like, he doesn't question your decisions.
But that's the point where me and my brother, we wanted to build that trust with my dad in terms of, Dad, you've worked your tail off the last 28, 27 years until we came. Enjoy life now, because he sacrificed so much for us to get to this point.
But he can do it though. He's okay.
He can okay now. Like, he can actually enjoy things. He's doing things where he didn't have time to do before. He couldn't let loose like he could let loose before, and like he's doing passion projects where he couldn't do before, right? Because his whole being and energy was solely focused on the business, and that's tough to do, right? You sacrifice a lot on the way, right?
But it's got to be so hard to let go of that.
Oh, for sure.
Because when you knew something inside out, I don't care if it's your son or a stranger you hand it to, that's got to be such discipline to say, I don't need to worry about this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to, he built it from four different bottles up.
Yeah.
And for him now to have that freedom and comfort, I think must be the highest compliment he can show to you, that he doesn't have to question and ask and make sure he's fine. Yeah. And he knows it's in good hands.
Yeah, 100%. That's 100% the way I see it. And we also, like I said, we don't take that for granted, right? Like, my dad's trust, I've never taken that for granted my whole life, even when I was a teenager. He never gave me a curfew growing up, Angus. Never.
Well, didn't have to.
He just said, don't show up in jail. I don't want to pick you up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Always respected it.
You know what? That's a funny point, because my mom was the same way. We didn't have a curfew. Her whole thing was just let me know when you're going to be home, and then make sure you're home by then. All is good.
Yeah.
And it was because to her a curfew was you do whatever you want until you hit this arbitrary number, and then that was wrong. It was like there's a trust extended. Live within trust, and all is good.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're good like that, and that seemed to me an easier way to live. So as we're kind of wrapping up, I want to throw a loaded question at you that you've sort of answered throughout. I would say you've peppered it through the entire conversation. But now you're a father yourself.
Yeah.
Can you summarize kind of all the life lessons that your dad has shown and exposed you to that you are going to consciously or already consciously trying to model and pass down to your children?
Yeah, I would just... My dad is like... He's incredible because you can just really tell he cares, right? And when you can tell somebody cares and really encourages you and trusts you, you feel like $1 million. And that's how I want my kids to feel. Is I want them to know, hey, Daddy's always in your corner. I'm here if you need me. I'm not going to push you to do anything you don't want to do, because it needs to come from yourself. And I think that was the greatest gift our dad gave to us, was not forcing us and pushing us into something. Because you talk about family business, Angus. I know I have friends who have a ton of family business that hate their lives. Absolutely hate it. But we enjoy it every single day.
No, and I think that's why one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on, because your story is sadly unique, where you grew up in a family business that you and your brother now run. And from my understanding, the transition obviously hasn't been perfect and easy and smooth sailing, but it's a great story of a second generation moving a business forward through all the blessings across the way, and done in a way that to me seems almost perfect, where your father made you learn the business right, didn't force you to. You both consciously chose to want to learn it, but he made you learn it right. He gave you a nice rope to make your own mistakes without letting you destroy the whole company. And then when the handoff was finally complete, he's good to go and now be a retired dad that's proud of his boys, and you guys are now able to take his floor or take his ceiling, shall I say, and springboard off it as your floor. And I just think it's one of those stories where, there's so many people out there now that run businesses that are looking at their children going, do you even want this? And we know the stories go all different ways, and some try to force it. Some kids want it because they think it's easy. Some kids begrudgingly want it. Some people don't want it. And I just think Organica is a fascinating story of one is a business that's grown by solving problems for people with good quality, trusted products and services. But I think even more so is a story of a family transition of passing down the values of how to live to your siblings, and you guys carry that torch forward. And I just think it's a great story to remind us all on how to raise our children to want to be great. And if it's in our world, then great. And if it's not, that's okay, because those are transferable skills of learning what it means to be great and to work hard and to care about what you're going to do. And maybe it's in the business, maybe it's not, but either way, as a parent, I think you win.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? You win.
If you can teach those values to your kids, they'll be successful in anything they do. We just happen to choose Organica. Right?
No, and to me, that's almost like the biggest thank you can do to Dad, because you took the traits and say, Dad, we want to keep taking care of expanding what you've built.
Yeah, for sure.
To honor you.
For sure.
And then you keep that little picture of the van when you walk into Organica.
For sure.
So you never think you never get too big for your own britches, right? And you remind yourself it started right there.
100%. Anytime you have a bad day, you walk by that little graph and you're like, okay, like stop it.
Yeah,
you
but
have nothing to complain
and even
about.
if you have an amazing day, you think it's all about me. You're like, no, it came from the van.
Exactly.
Let's not forget where this came from. Don't get too big on your own ego too, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, bottom line is, you guys have made some killer cookies. Yeah. You make amazing products, and I love that. About 2 years ago when we started talking, you said your biggest challenge now, where everyone's trying to ramp things up, make more money, was you were paring things down and trying to get rid of things that weren't who you were anymore.
Yeah.
You were trying to harness who you were, sharpen your pencil of what Organica means. And be great at what you want to do and not just try to be everything to everyone.
Exactly.
And it's all embodied in these unbelievable cookies. And on that note, we're going to get back to eating some more of these. And I love it. Thank you for coming in, Aaron. You and your family are a testament of a true family business and how to generationally not just pass it down, but move it forward.
Thank you, Angus. Thanks for having me. And it's always fun telling the story, because it also helps me also appreciate the whole journey as well, right? Because sometimes you get too caught up and you forget, what happened throughout. So, and
we're just starting.
Yeah,
we got years and years of runway ahead of you.
Exactly.
Good man. Yeah. All right. Thank you for coming in, Aaron.
Appreciate it.
Take care, buddy.